I'm Brittany.
And I'm Antonio.
Great.
So our viewers should know a lot about us right now. If they've seen our other episodes, they should know that we both live in Trinity. You're a poli-sci major, I'm a psych major. But I don't think they know how passionate we are about sports.
That's true. I love San Diego Chargers. I love football most of all. I know you like other sports, but I'm from San Diego, so whenever it's football season, you can see me really excited.
I like a lot of sports too, basketball, football, curling, all the basics, but my favorite sport is baseball. I've played it for most of my life. And here in SLO, we have a pretty big Giants-Dodgers rivalry. And for sake of argument, I won't say which team is my favorite, but I will give you a hint. It's the Dodgers. So.
Yeah, once again. Well, you're lucky because it's baseball season.
And I also like playing volleyball. So.
All right, for sure. Well, welcome back again. We're live from the Dexter Art Gallery, and we have another student picture provided for us here again today, so you can see it when we're filming.
Very beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For those of you viewing us for the first time, just a reminder to set your video player to find color, and also in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, there's a little square icon. Click that and make the video player nice and big so you can see our beautiful faces, and also turn the volume bar all the way up.
Yeah, so today's exciting. We're covering a ton of topics. We're going to be telling you how you can get more involved with parents with your student success, and also interviewing with the Office of Registrar and getting some more information about registration. But more importantly, this is preparation for SOAR, which stands for Student Orientation Advising Registration. So we're going to give you all the tools to be prepared for that. It's coming up soon.
Yeah. And again, for those of you viewing for the first time, the format of the show, the way it's going to work is we're going to have our first guest, Cem from Registrar, and we'll chit-chat with him for a little bit, ask him a few questions, get to know him and what he does, and then we'll get into our question and answer part of the show, where we'll take questions from you guys, and then we'll take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back to our next guest, Andrene from Student Life and Leadership, and talk a little bit more about SOAR. Then after that, we'll close and give you guys some last-minute reminders.
Yeah, and before we get started with our first guest, we do have a question from email. It's from Harrison, and he asked if medical insurance is from Cal Poly is included in the student fee, and if he's already covered by family's medical insurance, if he can be reimbursed for that. So.
And unfortunately, it's not included in your student fee, and it is very highly recommended that you have a supplemental health insurance while attending classes here in case you need it. And for more information, you can go to the Health and Counseling Services website for that.
Yeah, and thanks, Harrison, for emailing us ahead of time. If anybody comes up with any questions, just email us at orientation@calpoly.edu, and we'll get that answered. And speaking of which, we have a lot of people in the chat right now. I'm going to do some call-outs to
very excited.
Yeah, to V, Callan, Callie, Cecilia, Cody, Derek, Jonas, Jordan, Jordan's Max, Sam, and Sarah's mom. All right.
Hi, Sarah's mom.
Yeah, hi, Sarah's mom. All right, so our first guest, like I said, is, or Antonio said, is Cem Sunata from Office of Registrar.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and just let us know a little bit more about the Office of the Registrar.
Sure. Well, my name is Cem Sunata. I'm the Registrar at Cal Poly. I head the Office of the Registrar. It is a very multifaceted office. Well, traditionally, Registrar is defined as the person who's the custodian of students' academic records. Mm-hmm. But our office is quite large and has multiple responsibilities. We pretty much take the students from the admissions office when they get admitted and matriculate, and then pretty much assist them with their education at Cal Poly up until their graduation. Our office provides services such as class scheduling, registration, provide transcripts, enrollment verifications or degree verifications, veterans. We also work with veterans, students who are veterans. We also do the student's degree audit, which is pretty much the status of where you're at with your classes towards graduation. And any kind of advice that the student might need about their academic records, their academic status, they come and see us. We're located in the second floor in the administration building, and we're open from 8 to 5.
great. That's interesting because I really didn't know until like a few days ago that Registrar was you're kind of a separate entity from administration, right?
Well, we are under administration.
Yeah.
Did you mean admissions, perhaps?
Yeah.
Or admissions and advising and all that.
Yeah. Well, you kind of just mentioned this, but how are you different from like an advisor? Since you're in charge of registration and all the classes and stuff, some students might be wondering, can we come to you for advice?
Sure. I would definitely recommend that the students actually first seek their advisor, because their advisor is a person assigned to them and very knowledgeable about their particular major and degree, any kind of college policies that the student might be required to follow. We are quite handy when it comes to transfer work. So if a student comes to Cal Poly having taken certain classes in community college or anywhere else, or during their education here, they decide to go, maybe in summertime perhaps, and take community college classes, and they're curious as to how those courses are going to apply towards their degree. We are very good in giving them that advice and that guidance. They can actually even see us before if they want to go and take those classes. We also, since we are the office who determines the graduation and whether a student graduates or not, we also keep this degree progress report for the students. So at any time during their studies at Cal Poly, they can check out their degree progress report, and if you have any questions about that, they can ask us.
How early do you recommend turning in your graduation form?
We recommend that the students apply for graduation at the very least a year before they plan to graduate.
When you do that.
Yeah, me too.
There's a really good reason for that. It's just not a mere rule.
Yeah.
If you're under the impression that you have all the courses that you need to graduate, or any you're planning to take them, and then, and in fact you're wrong. And if you apply early enough, and we actually let you know that, hey, look, you've taken these courses and you're planning to take these courses, but you're still missing these and these, and you don't seem to be planning to take those.
Definitely.
So at least you have a year to go ahead and take those.
Yeah, and make sure you're on track and everything.
Right. Otherwise, your graduation gets delayed.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I know a common question is often about minors and declaring a minor. So can you start taking classes beforehand and then declare your minor, or do you have to declare your minor first before taking those classes?
Well, technically you can. However, I highly recommend against it. It's very, very important for a student to seek out the advice of their academic advisor or career services, or the advisor from the college where they're seeking the minor from, to get a very good idea that it's a good fit for them, that it's going to match their academic goals, and then actually, if that's the case, then come to our office, declare the minor, and then start taking classes. And other reasons that the classes at Cal Poly are quite competitive. They get filled really fast, and you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you get into a class and then later on find out that that minor that you were trying to pursue is not good fit for you.
And it's also good to see, if you decide to take a minor, how far behind that will put you in terms of getting a degree, right?
Absolutely.
Because if you're taking a minor that's related to your major, some of your major courses might count for your minor.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah. Great. So I know you get a lot of questions about AP credit. What are some of the frequently asked questions? And if students haven't yet turned in their AP credit, how can they do that?
Sure. I think that one question that we get asked the most often is that, have you received my AP scores? Well, there's a really easy do-it-yourself answer to that.
Yeah.
And most likely students have their own AP scores in their score sheet. In the bottom of that sheet, if it says Cal Poly State University, then that means that the College Board sent the scores to our institution. If it doesn't say that, then most likely we won't have your scores. Then I would, if that's the case, then I would strongly recommend them to contact the testing agency and have them forward to us as soon as they can.
I'm pretty sure I took AP Spanish in high school.
Me too.
And pretty sure I didn't send in my AP credits.
That's right.
So don't do what I did. Make sure you get your AP credits, guys.
Yeah.
What was I saying? That was it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that everyone's really excited about having the pre-made block schedules for when they come to SOAR. What can you tell us about those block schedules? Like, can they change anything on them, or how does that work?
Sure. The block schedules were designed in very strong collaboration with the students' departments and colleges. It's the faculty and the administration of those colleges are the ones who've given us those set of courses that they wanted the incoming freshmen to take. And we are doing our best to get those students, their classes, their relevant classes. Yes, the student will have an opportunity to adjust their schedule during the freshman registration days that are August 16th through 18th. However, I would highly recommend the incoming freshmen to consult with their advisor before they change anything in their schedule.
Yeah.
I think some change is expected, but we definitely want to make sure that they stay on track when they make those changes.
Yeah.
And it's nice that they're already formulated so that you are starting off on track and everything. So
Right.
that's really nice. We didn't have that. We went through, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess we're going to take some questions from the chat now.
Yeah.
Derek in the chat wants to know, how do students add classes to their preliminary schedule?
I'm assuming he means how do you add classes to your block schedule?
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
The August 16th through the 18th is when freshmen can actually go in and register, and during those times you can go in and look at paths for available sections of the course that you want to take, and you can add those courses in.
Yeah, and there's advisors there too to help them out. And it's a little bit
Right. Well, the freshman registration day is going to be after SOAR.
Oh, the after summer. Okay. Sorry.
But during the SOAR, we're going to give them all the information that they need on how to register for courses and where to find information they need or open sections.
Great. Perfect. And then Callan in the chat is asking, can students at Cal Poly double minor?
Double minor.
Yeah.
There is no limit as to what you can do while you're in Cal Poly. However, let me give this caution. We highly encourage students to stay on track with their declared major. And that's quite challenging enough. Even though we have wonderfully talented and gifted students coming in, it may be difficult to find the course that you need for your second minor. I would highly recommend that they actually give priority over to the course that they have to take for their major before they pursue that other minor or minors.
Sam in the chat wants to know, are the classes already scheduled final? I know you kind of already touched on that.
I'm sorry, are these classes?
Are the classes that they're already scheduled for, are they final?
Right, for the block schedule.
Yeah.
Right. They're not. No. I mean, the technical answer to that is no.
Yeah.
However, there are those seats are very limited. Even though they can adjust their schedule, if they can find another course or another seat in the course, they're more than welcome to add it. Yeah.
Okay, and then Zach G1 from the chat is asking, why do we need to bring our SAT scores to SOAR?
It usually is a good idea to bring any kind of transcripts or even maybe AP scores or SAT scores to SOAR, because during the SOAR there's going to be a time where they're going to be in these labs with their advisors.
Yeah.
And any questions that may come up during that time might necessitate knowledge of their transfer work or SAT scores. And so it's good to have those handy.
Yeah.
Great. So Victor wants to know, how do transfer students add classes to their block schedules?
Transfer students currently do not get block schedules.
Okay.
That's a good question. Thank you for asking that. So when it's time for them to register, they will go in there and they will be going there and register for classes. But thankfully, the courses that the freshmen and the transfer students are going after most likely are different courses or different levels of courses.
That's true.
Okay, and then Derek is asking again, I was placed in the wrong math class, or he was placed in the wrong math class. Can you change that before the August 16th, 18th period?
We can try, I guess, if you can contact our office, and we'll definitely go and take a look at it. And also, the schedules will be available on August 1st, so we're still making tweaks and adjustments to the block schedules. They're not perfect right now, so they're not final right now. And it may be a good idea for him to take another look at his final schedule on August 1st before calling.
Great. So Derek wants to know, oh, no, we already did that. So I'm going to give you guys a tip for when you're registering for classes. I know you don't have to do it till winter quarter, but when you're looking at PASS, which is, it shows all your other classes and it's on your Cal Poly portal.
Yeah,
and that's,
it stands for Plan of Student Schedule. It's really
yeah, and when you're looking at that before you actually register for classes, when your time comes to register for classes, make sure you write down your class number so that way you can put that in right when you're registering so you can get it as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have another question from the chat now. It's from Colleen, and she's asking, is there a way to view our schedules now? She said Matt mentioned he was placed incorrectly in math.
Yeah, they're going to be able to view their schedules on August 1st. And they can do that either through a student center, probably is the best place to go to do that.
Access that through the portal.
Yeah, through the portal,
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, awesome.
Great, so is there anything else you'd like to mention that we haven't covered?
Yeah, I kind of, maybe one final word for our incoming freshmen. College environment, as they may know by now, is quite different than high school. And a lot of times, it's been my experience, and actually I was like that when I was a student too, that I didn't know what I didn't know. And it's very important to be very proactive in a university environment and on campus and ask questions constantly to find out the right way of doing it. It can save them a lot of time and money and headache. And if they have any doubt whatsoever, we're always open. You can come to us for advice. If you don't know the question, we'll know where to send you.
Yeah, don't be scared to ask questions. I remember I was a shy little freshman, but everybody else is shy too. Even you transfer students that might be a little bit older, like everybody's scared, they don't know what they're getting themselves into, so don't be afraid to ask questions because we're all here for you.
Yeah, and it's great to come to SOAR and just get familiar with everything and look at your schedule ahead of time, and that way when you get here, you know what you're up against to an extent. So we actually have one more question from the chat again. It's from Caroline, and she says, when can we talk to our advisor about adding a minor? Like, when's the best time to do that again?
Students can chat with their advisors. There may be a brief period during SOAR. That's a time where advisors are actually welcoming all the freshmen. And during their lab times, that might be a good question to ask. And also after school starts, definitely get an appointment or just walk in, and you can see them anytime.
Great. So, anything else you'd like to cover before we?
Oh, and one last date is that August. So I mentioned August 16th through 18th being the freshman's registration date.
Yeah.
On August 22nd, it's open registration, and that goes until September 15th. During that time, any student can go in and conduct any registration activity.
Okay, so if it's not your registration time, anyone can go in during that time and work on it. Okay.
Great. Well, right now we're going to take a quick commercial break from UPD, and when we come back, we'll be back with Andrene from Student Life and Leadership, and we'll be talking to you about SOAR.
Yeah, thanks again for being with us, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Every day is the right day. It's easy to understand.
My name is Chad Riley. I'm a police officer with the University of Cal Poly. We try to ensure a safe learning environment for the students, faculty, and staff. We have a lot of resources that a lot of students don't know about, from fingerprinting, if you have a fingerprint that needs to be taken for any jobs that you might have here on campus or off campus. We have an escort van that runs after hours or after evening time. That's free also. We have a rideshare program and commuter access services. We also have ride-along programs. If you'd like to see what police officers do during the weekend, you can do a ride-along. We do ticket sign-offs, so if you have a fix-it ticket, like a light out in your car or window tinting, you can bring that back here and we'll sign it off for you once it's taken care of. I hope students will take away the understanding that you can contact the police department just about for any reason that you feel fit. If you have any safety concern whatsoever, don't be afraid to call the police department. We're not here just for emergencies.
Well, welcome back to the show. So right now we're joined with Andrene from Student Life and Leadership. So to get this right, your last name is Kaiwi-Lenting.
Perfect.
Correct? And it's Hawaiian?
Hawaiian.
Well, it's no secret to many of us that work with you in orientation programs that you enjoy doing the hula.
I do enjoy doing this.
That is correct. And what's that, Jason? What are you saying? We can't go on with the show until Andrene does the hula?
You know what? I heard that you learned the hula.
That's true. I did YouTube it before this, so here we go. And Andrene kind of gave me some tips. Is that good? Thank you, guys.
Someone's videotape you. Okay.
Oh, man.
So we can come back and look at you again.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Thanks for showing up and showing that. Thanks again for being with us. The first question I have for you is, can you introduce yourself a little bit more and explain what it is you do for your
Sure. I'm the coordinator of orientation programs. And what that means at Cal Poly is that we have 3 main events that we host out of Student Life and Leadership, as you mentioned. The first one is open house, so many of our viewers, parents, may have been invited in April to come to Cal Poly, view our campus, make a decision on whether or not this was the right place for them, and they might have tuned in and met me on Grand Avenue back then.
Open house was so much fun. I gave a bus tour, and I got to tell so many jokes, and everybody loved it. So
Good, yeah. See, and so many of the students then make their decision to come to Cal Poly by May 1st, so that's kind of the target, is to do it in April so that when the intent to register comes out, then we know that they want to come here. The second program that we coordinate out of our office is SOAR, which is what I'm going to focus on the most today. And then we also coordinate our nationally renowned orientation program called Week of Welcome, where we have tons of student volunteers. And I'll talk a little bit about that if you want me to later. But so in our office, Student Life and Leadership, we are also the home of many other organizations like our Pride Center, our women's programs. I'm sorry, not women's programs. It's Gender Equity Center.
Just change it.
Yes, new name. Our Multicultural Center, and we organize clubs and organizations with club sports, community service, and we also are the home of commencement. So we bring them in and we graduate the students in our office.
That's awesome. So the main topic today is SOAR. Can you just kind of, hopefully most people watching know what SOAR is or have a good idea about what it is, but can you tell us what the purpose of SOAR is and why it's beneficial to go?
Definitely. Well, the registrar was really, it's great to follow his perspective because it really starts with his office. His office is who is generating the schedules for all of the students, and at SOAR it is pretty much the event or the tool that we provide the students with those block schedules, and we have some more intimate one-on-one or group time with the students, very specific to them. SOAR is dedicated over 10 days. There's 2 colleges that participate each day, and so it gives us some time to do some really concentrated efforts with the students by major, with their advisors, with faculty advisors. Some of them will have peer student advisors. We have an awesome SOAR staff that will guide them. Oh wait, you two are on SOAR.
Yeah, we're really excited.
SOAR crew leads are pretty cool too.
Come say hi to us.
So it's really a good day to really put the focus on academics, put the focus on policy and procedure, and how to really get ready for classes. And we have those 10 days set up specifically to help students with that focus the most.
Great. And I know another common question is, what do students and their supporters need to bring with them?
Okay. Well, what we've been trying to do as we have students sign up for SOAR is we've been sending out some reminders of what to bring or what to do before coming and maybe what to bring with them. And it was mentioned a little bit earlier that it's really important to bring copies of transcripts and officially sealed if possible. And if there's SAT or scores that they want to bring those, AP scores. They want to view a demonstration that is at our portal or at the advising portal. It's a demonstration on how to register before coming here. Okay. And you want to even review that right before winter quarter too, when you are going to register in winter quarter, because that's when you really are preparing your own schedule, not a block schedule. And then the other thing too is review the date that you're coming. Make sure you're coming on the right date. And there is instructions on how to get to campus. That's either at their confirmation letter or at our website. And so they want to make sure that they know how to get onto campus correctly, know where to park. We start at 9 a.m. and it's an early start, so you want to get here early.
So parents and the supporters, they have a different agenda than the students do. Can you kind of give us a run through on both sides?
Well, we have different schedules for parents and students because they have different needs. Again, we're focused on the student. The student will get an overview of the university. Actually, our brand new president, President Armstrong, will welcome the students in the morning, and the parents. And then right after that is when we kind of split the students and parents up for freshman day. Transfer day is a little bit different, and I'll go into that in a second. But so when the parents go to their workshops are really geared towards meeting other parents that are currently from our parent program. They'll work with current students like yourself and learn more about the campus. They'll be with each other, set up primarily with other parents that might be from their students' major as well. And it's really a day to concentrate on their transition. A parent has their own transition, and we really want to help them through that transition. There will be some time that they will meet with a college dean or associate dean about the college. But for the most part, it's really a great day for the parents to get questions answered. They'll meet with resources throughout the day. And while the parents are having their own orientation, the students are getting their questions answered about how do I read this block schedule? What are the policies and procedures about campus? If I want to change a class or add a class, how do I go about doing that when the open enrollment comes up? That was mentioned by the registrar. So students will focus on those things. The students are led by major. They go through groups by major. They're led by student leaders like yourself throughout the day.
Liberal arts.
And they will be able to ask questions. Some really fun, popular activities that we have is meeting current students is always very popular, and there's a transition panel that that the students will be able to ask current students questions about life on campus and what's going on. They'll meet some important resources that day that will kind of set the tone for how do I get ready to come back in September.
Yeah, I know it's exciting too to be split up because you do meet a lot of people. Like, I know people who are still friends from their SOAR groups, and parents really connect and exchange emails and keep talking about it, so it's definitely fun. But we also wanted to ask you about transfer day. There's a day dedicated to transfer students, and how is that different?
It's different because they will actually register for classes on transfer day. When a transfer student who's participating in SOAR attends, they will also split out by major. They'll still go to the same workshops, have the overview, and get to know the college, get to know the dean, get to know the advisor. But on the day that they are here, they will actually prepare a schedule, and then they will register into their classes, which is a little bit different because they won't get a block schedule.
Yeah.
So for students watching that aren't yet, they haven't registered for SOAR, tomorrow is the last day to register, correct?
It's not too late. There's still room. And some of the dates are full, but there is still room for students to participate in SOAR, and they can sign up through tomorrow. And if a student wants to bring their families, and we encourage that they bring their family with them, especially freshmen.
That's exciting. Great. So we actually had an emailed question recently from Karen, and she was asking, what do we do if we can't attend SOAR?
Very good question. And first, I think that SOAR is so packed with all of those highlights that I mentioned, and that is that's one of the main benefits. That you have one-on-one interaction with an advisor, with current students, with current parents, so on and so forth. But if a student and their family can't attend, that's something that we anticipated. And so we have a special broadcast of PolyLive on Friday, August 12th. Yeah. And what that day will be dedicated to is students that cannot attend SOAR, then we will do the overview of some of the activities that we've done. Yeah. In a little more compact way, yeah. But at least it's something they can refer to, yeah. Get questions answered, and be able to call in and chat in if they have questions. And then we'll have advisors on as chat moderators that can try to answer the questions.
But students shouldn't substitute that for actual SOAR.
No,
right?
not at all. It's not as at all. But it is a benefit and a tool that will be in place, especially if we have students and parents that might be out of state and can't make it to a SOAR session.
So now we're going to take some questions from the chat. Kaylin wants to know, when are move-in days for freshmen?
Move-in days for freshmen are going to be on a Monday, and I believe it's September 10th. I'm not sure.
It's actually the 12th.
The 12th, thank you. I think the 10th is when you all have to be back. So,
yeah.
So that's right. September 12th is move-in day for freshmen. Yeah. I think that housing has really detailed information about how to move in, and if there's a staggered move-in time. And so I would refer to the housing website for that, but generally the freshmen move in on the 12th.
Exciting day. All right, so we have a question now from John's mom, and she wants to know, I want to make sure my student registers the right classes. Does she also get to meet her student's advisor?
Okay. Hi, John's mom. I'm glad there's parents on. The parents will have an opportunity to interact with a college representative, not necessarily the specific advisor. I think it's going to probably be an associate dean or a dean that the parents meet. The parents are not in attendance with the students during their lab and advising time. Unfortunately, space is limited, and we really only have enough space for the students. But because the students aren't really registering, they're not registering at SOAR, not freshman students. They're getting their block schedule, and they're being advised on if they want to add a class later during open enrollment or that kind of thing. Then that's when the parents really away from SOAR will be able to kind of interact with their students about their schedule. And definitely winter quarter, they'll be able to talk to their student about their schedule too. But ultimately, SOAR is to introduce the student to their advisor. An advisor is the key to their success here. They really need to make sure that that is the time that they really get to know their advisor.
I didn't get to go to SOAR when I was a freshman,
unfortunately. And I remember when I came, like, first week of school, my roommate went to SOAR, and he had this really nice binder with, like, a bunch of stuff he got. And I was, like, looking through, and I was like, wow, you have, like, all your classes, like a flow chart. And I felt, like, so out of place. I was like, he was ready to go, and I was kind of a step behind him. So don't take it.
Don't take it for granted.
The advising session is great too. Like we said earlier, you learn how to register later, and you get to like familiarize yourself with the portal because your students there who do it all the time.
So we have a question from Caroline. It's kind of a follow-up question to when freshmen can move in. She wants to know, is the date that freshmen move in, is that the same for out-of-state students?
My understanding is out-of-state students will be able to move in the day before, so that would be the 11th. And again, double check that with housing. But that's my understanding is out-of-state will move in on the Sunday, and then in-state students will move in on the Monday. And then continuing students that are moving back into the residence halls will move in on Wednesday or Thursday.
And now we have a question from Tracy in the chat. She wants to know when freshmen will get their room assignments.
Also, an understanding is that it's historically, it's mid-August. So it'll be after SOAR is over, and housing usually starts sending out the announcements shortly after SOAR is completed. So.
Okay. Great. Victor wants to know if you can repeat the SOAR information for transfer students.
For SOAR information for transfer students, some of the highlights is that you'll definitely meet other transfer students in your major. You will register for your classes, so before registration you will have some really good sit-down time with either your faculty advisor, your advisor for your college, some peer advisors from other students. And the day is really focused on getting their right classes and registering for classes.
All right, so the funnier question from the chat. Dee is wondering, why do kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch? That's a good question.
It's just good.
Isn't it? Anything with cinnamon is good.
Yeah, it's actually my favorite cereal.
I like Fruity Pebbles, but those are...
Yeah, I'm kind of a Fruit Loops myself.
I eat cereal all times of the day, so I love cereal. That's great. Okay, so now we have another question.
Okay.
We want to know when we can sign up for WOW and what we can expect.
Apparently, we can sign up for WOW today.
Yeah.
And the way you sign up is the exact same way that you signed up for SOAR. You go to your portal, know your portal. If I'm going to give any tip, it's explore the portal, customize it, make it look like yours, but know it inside and out. And that's where you check your grades. That's where you check for any financial information. So portal. I can't stress it enough. But anyway, that is where you sign up for WOW as well.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add about like the differences between SOAR and WOW?
Well, I think it was pretty evident that the difference between SOAR and WOW is that really SOAR, we want to focus on classes, we want to focus on academics, we want to get students acquainted with their college, and that they are part of a college. Some students don't realize that they are part of a college. Their college is not Cal Poly, their university is, but each of us belong to a different college. And WOW is really the kickoff. It's the drive, it's the move-in, it's the transition to moving away from home. It includes an academic day component, and it includes a lot of interaction and connecting with hallmates, with current students, getting to know San Luis Obispo, knowing your living community. It's a big difference.
You would like to think? Thank you for your educated responses. They were great.
Just a little reminder, this episode, it will be recorded and archived on our website and on iTunes as well. And if you have any other questions, you can email us ahead of time at orientation@calpoly.edu.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much again for being with us, Andrene. Yeah. All right. So, Antonio, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Did you finally watch the Harry Potter movie? I know we talked about it last episode.
I did. In fact, I saw you there on opening night.
I've seen it twice already.
Yeah. I've only seen it once. It was great. I'm pretty sad. I'm crying inside a little bit.
Well, I cried during the movie a lot. So. Yeah, those of you who haven't seen it, you should see it. It's great. It's epic.
But now that that's like our childhood.
Yeah, I feel like it's over. Seeing some chicken fins.
But it was good. It was very awesome.
All right. Well, thanks again for being with us, Andrene. Today was great.
Well, thanks again to our guests for being with us. And remember, tomorrow's the last day that you can sign up for SOAR. And for more information about that, you can go to studentlife.calpoly.edu and go to the /SOAR. Or since you're watching this right now, you can go to the left side of the web page, and there's a little SOAR tab. You just click that. You go straight to that.
Go straight to it. Our next episode, to remind you, is August 12th, and it's going to be for the students who missed SOAR. We talked about that a minute ago with Andrene. So it's a special SOAR edition. You're going to be able to introduced from people from administration, and they're going to go over everything with you.
So, Bernie, do you have any last words of wisdom for our viewers?
I think just be excited for SOAR. Like you said, there's a lot of information that's going to be thrown at you, but it's really exciting, and it's just a great day to meet people and to get more involved and learn more about your classes and just like really soak it up and put yourself out there and have a good time over here. Yeah. What about you, Antonio?
Well, I mentioned this before. Don't underestimate how much you can get out of SOAR. You know, it might be a lot. We're going to throw a lot at you, but just be willing to take it all in. Because I didn't go, and I was a little lost. And now that I'm on the other side of the table, and I'm on the SOAR crew, you know, I know everything that's going on, and I wish that I would have gone because I would have been way more comfortable.
Right, and just a reminder, you should tune in to our next episode. Even if you do come to SOAR to just brush up on everything. Like I said, August 12th is the day. So,
That'd be great.
yeah, thanks for being with us. Once again, I'm Brittany.
I'm Antonio.
And thanks for watching Colorado.